Welcome everyone to the 22nd Vegan Convergence of the Peoples Thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've just watched Carne, the Unsustainable Footprint, and I mentioned before we watched it that it won Best Prize at the International Vegan Film Festival, but it's also won Best Documentary at the Frankfurt Indie Stars Film Festival and the Lisbon Indie Film Festival.
Actually, it won 6 prizes and 14 nominations worldwide. It won in Germany, in Finland, in Brazil, in Canada, and 2 times in Portugal, and 14 nominations from Asia to Europe and America. Yeah, it was really surprising because we didn't create the documentary. The idea of the documentary in the beginning was to be focused in the Portuguese society. That is very specific. So, but from one moment to another, we start having a lot of invitations to participate in the film festivals, and we said, okay, let's open to the world, and we had that good surprise. It was amazing because the idea it was just to create a document for people to have access, for them to be able to show to their friends, to their family, to create discussion about this debate, not making a very graphic documentary, but with a lot of information for being able to bring everyone to the conversation that we need to have about this topic. So the idea was something like this. We didn't expect to be so massive around the world.
Yeah, it was amazing to be able to go to all those different countries, and that you've made the effort to engage so many different people. We messaged a little bit during the film, and I said I love the part with the grandmother and the granddaughter talking, and you revealed a little bit of how you created that scene.
Yeah, and it was totally organic. So nothing was scripted. It was just a grandmother, and the idea was with love can change anything. Even a grandmother that lives, in a different reality, that didn't make the transition, but she's able to change something through love. And that was the idea. That grandmother was able to change because of her granddaughter. And I think that's the most impactful. Definitely it's funny between them because there is always a kind of a fight, the granddaughter trying to bring the grandmother to the veganism. But I think that reflects what happens in many families, and many times I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, my parents don't accept this; it's really hard." And I think the answer is love. For example, with my parents, I have the same problem. So every time that I go visit my parents, I say, it's going to be me that is going to make lunch or dinner. And I try to make them a very good, nice vegan meal for them to have a good experience, for them to create good memories with this vegan experience. And I think that is really important because meat consumption, especially in Europe, I'm going to talk about Europe, is very emotionally connected with what happened in the past with people. Is very emotionally connected. So if I go to my father and say, if you eat meat is totally wrong, I'm basically saying to him that all the happy memories that he have, they don't have any value. So we need to respect what those people had in the past, but we need to recreate their memories. We need to create new memories that are happy for them, because that's the only way to change. Is because, for example, many people still eat meat because that remembers something happy that they live in the past. For example, with my father, he was really poor. He didn't have money to eat meat. So for my father to start eating meat in some point in their life, it was like an achievement. For him, it was, I made it in my life. So to say now to these people, what you do is wrong, is very tough. So we need to reshape their memories, and say, this is really nice too. And that's what I do with my parents.
That gave me a very specific flashback of when I was bearing witness with the Save movement. I was at a chicken slaughterhouse in Toronto, which is just a board fence away from a grocery store. And it's one of my favorite places to bear witness, because not only are we witnessing the animals that are going into the slaughterhouse, there are people shopping that are witnessing us bearing witness to the animals going into the slaughterhouse. And sometimes they ask questions. There was this one time a woman came out with a grocery bag, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "We're bearing witness to these animals." And she said, "Oh, are you vegan?" And I said, "Yes, we're all vegan." And she said, "Well, I'm Portuguese." I was like, "You're saying it like it's the opposite of vegan," but she was immediately identifying with her culture and saying, "Wow, that's what you're doing? I can't do it. I have," and that was the first thing that came to her mind. And she said, we killed animals in the old country. I said, "Well, come over and look at these and see if these look like what it looked like in the old country." And she said, "It's not."
It's a very challenging culture, especially in the south of Europe. And even for me, it was quite challenging because last year it was really tough in terms of threats. I have my email full of threats, and it was really. And I remember that sometimes they invited me to go to universities and they start insulting me. It's because every time that you touch this subject, to change the way how people eat is like touching their emotions in the way, you are no one to say what we should eat, and what I usually say to people, I'm not trying to say to you what you should eat. I made a documentary for you to think about it, and the decision is yours. But our culture is, you still have bullfights in Portugal, and they are awful, really awful. It's a sadistic show. So you have this, and you have a culture like you have in the documentary in the first stage. People grow, special people from the generation of my father. They grow with the idea that meat is connected with health and wealth, and this idea is very deep in our culture. And now to say to men or to anyone that you need to stop eating meat because it's bad for the planet and for your health, they go crazy about that. So it's quite challenging. And nowadays, what is happening in the United States, we usually say when the United States sneezes, the Europe catch a flu or a cold. And this is not only for economical terms, is also for trends, political trends, and for everything else. So I believe the next years, they are going to be really, really, really tough. All these ideas, all these topics, they are completely being erased from TVs, from shows. It's very difficult to be able to talk about these subjects. For you to have one idea, I made the documentary in the beginning for the Portuguese Society. The documentary won 4 prizes abroad first, before it won 1 prize in Portugal. Only after winning 4 times abroad. And I have sent the documentary for the main ecological and environmental festivals around Europe. It was accepted in all of them, the biggest ones. it was refused in all small environmental festivals in Portugal, all of them, not a single one. So that's why me and my producer Francisco, we decided that this topic needed to be transformed into a documentary for people to be able to see, because Cowspiracy, Earthlings, they are outstanding documentaries. But if you try to show that documentary to a person that didn't make the transition and that is in this deep cultural, is like Monbiot said, is a cultural issue. And if you show those documentaries and then you are going to try to communicate with that person, she's not going to talk with you. So it needs to be subtle. It's like, I'm not saying that you need to change anything, but you have this information here, think about it, and people, they go, my parents, for example, they were the first ones when they knew that I was making a documentary about this topic, they say, what are you going to do? I don't know if that is a good idea. And I said to myself, my goal is to make a documentary where my parents, they are going to the premiere. And I achieved that. And now is the day that my parents alone, they prepare 3 and 4 meals per week that are vegan. So it's these small changes that then it will create a ripple effect that it will make the world a better place. I believe in that.
Wow,
we should get some questions shortly, but I do want to make the distinction there that you said that it was the environmental film festivals that wouldn't touch this, and Climate Healers is very aware of this problem that every industry tries to defend itself, and we kind of expect it from the animal agriculture industry to defend it when it's coming from environmentalists, especially ones that are going to save the world from climate change. And this is a topic they don't want to talk about. There's a cultural and collective groupthink that, I sometimes paraphrase it as the vegans must be stopped, right? We have the truth on our side, but
that is even worse, Ray, because I was really sad because I'm Portuguese and I wanted to show this documentary more in Portugal. And then I start investigating. Come on, they are small environmental festivals. Is not like the Italia Green Festival. It was nominated in the Italia Green Festival in Finland, in Montenegro. That is a big environmental festival. And then I start looking for the website, and I started noticing that the sponsors are connected with animal production or dairy. And what happens is they do this on purpose to connect themselves to festivals that are green, to pass one idea that what they do is like the Monbiot was saying, is a greenwash. So they connect themselves as sponsor of these festivals, sometimes in areas that are poor, for example, in some areas that are poor in Portugal, and they give money to these festivals, and they are the main sponsors. So if you want to try to enter with this topic, is against their business, so you have no chance at all. So it was quite a challenging year to try to, and also sometimes really frustrating because I was getting all these invites from abroad, and then in my own country it was so tough. Yeah. So actually, the documentary is in WaterBear. WaterBear is a massive platform, as you know it. And we offer the documentary to the national TV in Portugal because 20% of our budget was to pay licenses of the images that you see. And the national TV, it was for free, and it said no to the documentary. It said, we are not going to publish this. And then I said, okay, I'm going to send one email to WaterBear, but I believe that we don't have any chance because it's a huge platform. WaterBear answered in 48 hours and said, we want the documentary immediately. So this kind of rejection is very tough to deal with, but at the same time, it's the thing that tells me that it was the right moment to do this documentary, and it was the right moment to do this documentary for this kind of public.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Stay on with us, but I want to say people can raise their hands if they have a question or put it in the chat. Hugo, I wanted to say something about your parents because it reminded me of my mom, who eventually became vegan, and then she told me that she had to work out in her mind that what she had lived before wasn't wrong. It's just that that's where she was at the time. That, in fact, she said that's what we had to do, and so I wondered what the struggle was, for her, but she confessed that to me. And so once she said, okay, I had to do that then, I don't have to now, then she became vegan. So I'm pleased with your parents moving forward.
It's very easy nowadays with the society that we have for everyone to believe that empathy is not a force. And that's a big lie. Empathy is a very strong force that we need to continue to use it with everyone. But nowadays, everyone around, doesn't matter if we are discussing politics or something else, it looks like empathy is like a virus. And it's not. For me, it's the biggest strength, is the best way for us to improve ourselves, is through empathy and to show everyone, even to the people that are being nasty with us, not so nice to us, is the best way for us to have strength. Because no matter what, people are going, then they need to deal with themselves and they need to think about the options they are making. And I believe that this is very powerful, more than shocking people, I know that is really tough. It's a battle that is very tough to deal with. But I believe that through education and empathy, sometimes we are able to achieve more results than only with shocking people. But that's just me.
Oh, that's beautiful. And showing empathy if they're uninformed, like I have a group of people who are just sending emails back and forth about, oh, we're going to go eat here, eat chicken, da-da-da-da-da. And they know I'm in the group, so I don't think it's, on purpose, but I've found it hard to come up with anything to say that doesn't sound, that would move them. But you've made me think about empathy. I'm not sure where to go with that, but the fact that you've said use empathy is really, talk to me.
Is very difficult. It's very difficult when you listen, especially for, what I usually say is that vegans, they already cross a portal where their sensitivity, it's at maximum level. And what I mean by this is that people that made the transition, they feel things with more intensity. So they are able to be aware of the mistakes that other people are doing, and that hurts them deeply. But we need to control that. It's very tough, but we need to control that because we need to think, these people or this group weren't able to make the transition yet, so I need to help them. Small steps. Doesn't matter if it's you. Okay, you are going to eat chicken? No problem. Next week, I'm going to prepare the meal for all of you. Do you want to come? Things like this. Oh, let's go to a nice vegan restaurant for you to try. I think there is so many ways for people to. Definitely it's shocking. Definitely, probably they are provoking you, but what they are trying, they are fighting with themselves. They are not fighting with you. And that's what you need to be aware of. They are not fighting. They are not against you. They are fighting with themselves. I need to provoke this person because she's touching in one place inside of me that hurts and that I don't want to look at. So we need to be aware of this when we talk. That is like the people that insult me and that threaten me they don't have anything against me. I just made them think about something and they didn't like it. And that's the way. The process is painful for most of people, but we need to give them time. The problem is that we don't have time in our planet.
Right. Thank you so much.
There is a place where all life thrives, where every creature is respected, compassionately saving lives, and no one is rejected. Our world of peace and harmony, we call this planet. There is a place where all life thrives. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. We know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. Oh, a world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. We call this planet B. Call this planet B. There is a place where all life thrives, where every creature is respected, compassionately saving lives, and no one is rejected. Our world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. Oh, a world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B.
Honey, I'm on.
There is a place where all life thrives, where every creature is respected, compassionately saving lives, and no one is rejected. Our world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is this upside down. A chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony. We call this Planet B. This place we know is upside down.